Okay, today's video, we are going to talk about blocking bots or click fraud clicks on your Google Display Network ads or even YouTube ads, which is becoming a bigger problem all the time now. To put it simply here, I run a PPC agency where we manage about several dozen ad accounts on an ongoing basis. Some of it's Google search, some of it's YouTube ads, some of it's Bing, some of it's Facebook. Overall, out of all the clients that we have in the last year or so, 10 to 20% of the clients that we're dealing with have some sort of issue with click fraud going on. It used to be not that big of a problem several years ago, and it just keeps on getting worse and worse to the point where we've got to actively do something about it to get rid of the click fraud. You know, in other words, it's not so little of a problem that the ads, because they're set up well, will compensate or offset the fraudulent clicks. It's to the point on these the 10 to 20%. We either had to deal with the click fraud problem or the campaigns weren't going to be profitable after expenses. It's that bad on the actual 10 to 20%. So if your ads are not profitable, you may just have a problem with click fraud. Where you typically will know you have a click fraud problem, not just on Google search, but also Google Display Network and YouTube ads, you'll get to where even if you have an e-commerce business, if you have a form on your website still, what you'll start to notice first, generally, and 90% of the occasions, is you'll get a bunch of bullshit BS form leads. People filling out the form, hey, I would like a foot massage, or you know, hey, I want my back shaved, or whatever. Just some weird ass, off the wall shit. You'll get more weird shit if it's your competitors doing it to you, because they're meant to just try to discourage you and make you think it's a psyop, to make you think that the ads don't work. And so you'll just give up right away, particularly as you start doing it, because they know if they hit you right real quick, real hard, before you know that the ads can be profitable, they'll get you out right away. Whereas if you had your ads profitable already and then something happened, then you might go to an ad expert who will help you deal with the click fraud problem. But if it happens right away, you'll just think the ads aren't working. You see how smart these people are? And it's happening a lot. In some cases, you'll have click fraud farms. So you'll have people in offshore countries basically clicking on your ads, and that could certainly be a competitor paying people to do it. Or people will pay these click farm people to click their own ads on a YouTube channel, for instance, so they earn more advertising revenue from their YouTube channel. And it's a way to juice the numbers to earn more from a YouTube channel and the traffic you already get. So in that situation, just so you know, they'll have a legitimate YouTube channel and they'll have legitimate traffic coming in, but they'll juice the numbers, and maybe half the views on the video will be these click farm people that they hired to watch the video, watch the ad, and then get, you know, steal the ad money essentially from people who want to advertise in that channel to real people. They're ultimately getting these click farm people in other countries. Also, a lot of times software will be the what's doing it. So instead of using people, they use software. I've actually talked to people who said that they were approached with a software that can do click fraud against your competitors, or in the situation where you want to earn money from advertising more than you're earning already, you could use a software that'll then go ahead and click on the ad, wait a while, change the user agent on the browser, or simulate a different user, simulate a different IP address, click on the ad again, and then it'll just run automatically for you. So they don't have to have humans per se doing it, and could be just using straight up software to get you discouraged so you'll quit advertising or to earn more from their ads. Thankfully, in the situations where somebody's just got a website where they want to earn more from their ads on their website or on YouTube from their channel, that won't usually take down your campaign, because they won't do it so much that it will take down your campaign, because they don't want anybody to notice. They want to just juice the numbers a lot of times. Whereas if it's your competitor doing it, they want to take you down, obviously. So, you know, the people that are trying to earn more from their ads, if you didn't know, on your YouTube channel, if you're monetized, you get half the revenue from what people are willing to pay to advertise on your channel. It's the same thing if you have a website. When we're talking about Google Display Network, you get half of the advertising money of the people that want to advertise and run banner ads on your website. And this is done through the AdSense program. So anyway, you can kind of see the motive behind this. And you know, sometimes it's bot/software that are doing it either maliciously or to earn more money on their end, which you could technically call that maliciously as well, or it's just straight up people doing the same thing but just through human means. Now, so if you got a bunch of junk leads, particularly if it's surged recently to where you were getting maybe 1 or 2 bad leads a week, and then all of a sudden you got 10 or 20 all at once within a 1 week or 2 week period, that's the type of situation where click fraud's, it's kicking in. So you get a big spike in those bad leads. Also, if you get a big spike in your traffic that you wouldn't have normally got, like your campaign wouldn't spend more than 30 bucks a day, and then all of a sudden it could spend 300 a day, that's another clear tell that you have a problem with click fraud and not just, you know, something else is going wrong, basically. So how do you block these people, these bots, these human click farms from clicking on your ads and making your campaigns unprofitable? For Google search ads and Bing search ads, really the main thing there is you just block everybody who clicks on your ad. They cannot see your ad again. They're only allowed, in other words, to click your ad once. On Google Display Network, you want to do the same thing, but it doesn't have quite the same effect. There's just a kind of a different cadence that we have specifically for Google Display Network and YouTube ads to fix the problem. And I made this because people have asked me this, how do I fix this issue? And I wanted to just share with it what I have that's working for the clients that had an issue to pull them out of that problem. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to sign up for ClickCease, install it on your site. They actually technically market the software to fix click fraud problems on Google Display Network and YouTube ads itself. But that in and itself, one click you're done, that's not so easy. And even then, you got to know how to configure the software to fix your situation that you're having through running your bots on Google Display Network or YouTube ads. So you set up ClickCease, and then you're going to block all VPNs and proxies. So if it senses the person clicking is on a VPN or using a web proxy, it won't be able to prevent somebody from clicking on your ad the first time. But if they click on your ad, you can certainly block that. And if you want to take it further here, which I would just kind of do by default up front, make it so that people cannot click your ad more than once. And they do that by reading the IP address of the user and then sending that back to Google, which obviously runs YouTube ads, to not let that IP see any of your display ads or YouTube ads again. So on front-end campaigns, meaning you're not doing remarketing, you're not marketing to somebody who has been on your site before or done business with you before, I recommend, instead of just blocking VPNs and proxies, blocking anybody from seeing your ad more than once. That's the easy, clean way to do it and more effective way to do it. If you're talking about remarketing, you obviously can't block anybody from seeing your ad again, so to say, because a lot of people are going to click on a remarketing ad more than once, and for it to be effective, then that's the time where I'm going to go block VPNs and proxies. It's the second best thing, okay? Once you've done that, from there you need to look at where the spikes in your traffic are specifically coming from. Like I said before, if you have an issue with click fraud, you'll generally see your traffic kind of go like this. It's kind of going up and down a little bit day to day, and then whoop, something like that. It'll jump, and you'll see suddenly like 2 or 3 times as many clicks as you normally would get on average. And then that's generally going to be your click fraud. Now, once you see when your clicks went up, what you want to do is compare what the traffic has looked like as standard before the big jump in clicks and then during the jumping clicks, and compare and contrast the type of traffic, what device they're on, where they're at geographically, and so forth, during the spike and before the spike, to identify where the anomalies are, and then just remove parts of what you're advertising that match up with what's different during the spike versus not, before the spike. So you're going to look at 3 things. What placements, so basically where the ads are running, what websites specifically, because even if you're targeting people that, let's say, like chocolate as an audience, there'll be certain websites that you're showing up on. Those certain websites, if somebody's trying to milk more advertising money out of their ad placements on their website, then you'll get a spike on just those websites. So you can just block those websites and sometimes fix most of the problem. But also you can check what devices. And by the way, you can for YouTube, you can block your ads from being seen on certain videos, which would be the equivalent of that for YouTube. And then you can also check what devices. Are you suddenly getting a bunch of mobile visits, whereas before it was only like 20% of your traffic? Well, consider just getting rid of all the mobile clicks, which isn't ideal because obviously you're losing out on sales not being able to advertise to mobile, but it's a hell of a lot better than not making any money because you're paying for a bunch of fake mobile clicks. You can always remove mobile and then come back to it later, because chances are the person doing it to you, whether they're doing it to get rid of you as a competitor or trying to make more money from their advertising, isn't going to be doing it forever, so you could come back to it 3 months from now. If your competitor is doing it to you, they'll say, ha, we got rid of them. And then 3 months later, you kick the mobile traffic back on, and they probably forgot about you by then. So look at what devices in terms of the percentage of what percentage of your total visitors are coming from each device, and then potentially just remove one of the devices completely. And then also look at which locations. So if you notice that a bunch of clicks are coming from 2 or 3 states or cities, just get rid of those states or cities. A lot of times if you're going to have somebody doing click farms, which they're not going to be shown that they're from India or Philippines or whatever when clicking your ads, they're going to set up a web proxy where they can log into a certain PC and then click on ads. So, and those proxies are generally set up in bigger cities. So what I would encourage you to do as a test, if you haven't gotten rid of all the fake clicks using my system I'm giving you here, go ahead and try to run your ads in more rural areas, which you may or may not be able to do that in your market, but if you can, all the top 50 cities in the US, just exclude all those and target the rest of the US if you're doing USA-based advertising, by the way. Because again, the bot will go through a proxy that proxy server is going to be in a major city most likely. So it's some other thing to try here to go from most of it being taken care of to all of it, let's say, or 99% of it. So with all those things said, you may need to do some of it or all of it. Those are your main options to go through it all, and that'll fix your problem 90% of the time. You're going to keep going and adding more of these elements to what I mentioned you need to do here until there's no more spikes in the traffic data. You don't see your traffic go erratically like it never used to, and that your ad performance goes up. Obviously, you're tracking sales. If you're generating leads, you track the leads and make sure the lead quality the leads turn into a sale using offline conversion tracking and an offline conversion tracking process, which if you don't know how to do that, I've got videos about that exact thing where you could take a lead, see if it turns into a sale, plug that information back into your Google Ads account so you can see which ads are driving what sales and what your technically what your ROI is. Even though it won't track every sale perfectly, it'll track maybe half the sales. And then at least then you can kind of see if just from that half of the data and half the sales it normally picks up, if you're profitable or not. So in other words, if you need 1,000% ROI and you see their tracking says you got a 500% ROI, well, you pretty much know that you got rid of your click fraud problem, given it usually undercounts by like 50%. as a whole, market to market. That's kind of how it is. The reason why tracking isn't completely tracking of your sales because people switch devices. Some people's PCs don't accept cookies. Sometimes they use a browser that doesn't accept cookies. There's all these different reasons why tracking is Google's tracking is always going to undercount by a certain percentage, between usually 1/3 and 2/3. But anyway, you track your sales, whether you're doing lead generation, that you have to turn those leads into a sale, or you're doing cart sales and tracking that and see if you're making money. And obviously the other thing that tells you can stop is the junk leads go away. So you want to basically see stable traffic, junk leads going down to where they kind of were before you had an issue and your campaign stopped being profitable. And then of course your campaign's becoming profitable through the tracking. You see that as well. So that's the system that I have to be able to fix things. If you are generating leads instead of doing like trying to go for cart sales with your YouTube ads and display network ads, the number one thing you got to do to make that work is do offline conversion tracking, because there's so many bots out there. If you just optimize for leads, you're going to end up screwing yourself. You got to be able to know when those leads coming in are quality leads and are not bot leads. That's just a requirement. There's always going to be some bot traffic. This will get rid of most of it, but you got to always, and my point is, you got to always have your finger on the pulse of that campaign to make sure that you're not getting too many bots that'll make your campaign unprofitable itself. And so anyway, to do display YouTube ads, you got to do revenue tracking and sales tracking of what your campaign. So with that said, though, that's pretty much the whole plan, how to get rid of a click fraud or bot click problem on Google Display Network and YouTube ads. If you have any questions about this, let me know. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. You can ask me any question, by the way, about online advertising. I'd be happy to help. I've got 15 years of experience to try to help you, put you on the right track. If I can, I will. If you like the channel, I also have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog, where you can find other writing from myself and really good information about making money with online advertising for your business. Beyond that, if you want to work with the best PPC person or online advertising person to get you the most results you can with your ads, reach out to me at my firm, guaranteedppc.com. Be happy to look over your stuff and give you a plan and estimate how much sales results I can give your company without charging any fees up front, because that's exactly what I do for my clients here at my firm. We don't work with just anybody, but if you've got a great product or service that looks like it has a ton of potential, we're willing to put our money where our mouth is, get you some results up front, and then work on a paid basis after that. Once you know what we're doing, pays for itself, and it's a great service. And nobody else does that in our entire industry, which should say something about the service we provide here. So if you'd like to see if I can work with you, reach out to me and I'll be happy to look over your stuff and maybe have a talk on the telephone to find out a bit more. As a side note, if you're just looking for a template that will work for your industry, and we've worked in your industry before, we sell campaign templates that work for a number of different industries where we got results in that industry before. And if you're in a different geographic market that doesn't compete with who we're working with now, you could take those templates and use it and copy and paste the campaign templates, landing page templates that work for that industry already or niche already, and we charge a flat fee for that. And we've got templates for dozens of different markets. So instead of doing all the hard work yourself, and you don't want a full-on management agency to just manage all your online ads, that's a kind of a middle ground that can help you get great results for a decent price without all the tons of work it takes. Plus, you'd also know what your results are going to be before you even go in. So you get results quickly, and it's still a very cheap price compared to what value you're getting with that campaign that it took us years to optimize, in which you're getting the finished, polished version of it, right from day one. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'll let you know what campaigns we have and what markets we have campaign templates in and available. We've got a lot of people using those templates to make money by setting up shop, setting up a website, like a plumbing website in a certain market, finding somebody to outsource the work to, taking 10% of the sales revenue that comes in off the top for themselves and have that make money because the campaigns are so efficient. They're able to do that because they have the winning campaign right from the get-go, and that their competition locally there in the plumbing space or whatever doesn't have the campaign templates and a campaign built from somebody who's in the top 1% of people that makes ads in that industry, working for them or are them, if you will. Anyway, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and learned a lot, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you then as well. See you later.